What's up guys, my name is John Bowman. Today we're going to talk about shot put. Shot put's one of my favorite events, and what you do is put it on your neck and you try to chuck it as far as you can. It is fun and it's one of my favorite things to do. What is a shot put? Essentially it's just a steel ball, and you can get it in a couple different sizes and textures. Here you have something like a stainless steel shot put. It's a smooth, shiny thing, and it takes chalk really well when you have a nice hot sunny day. You also could have just like a turned steel or a cast iron shot put, and those are gonna have a little bit more texture and maybe get beat up a little bit more over time. I prefer actually more of a turned steel shot put, but in the end it doesn't really matter. The other thing you could think about is the size. So like this shot put and this one, they're both weigh the same, but you can see the diameter is different. This is dependent on your hand size and one's comfortable. When I was in college, I threw a 110 millimeter shot put, which is pretty small, would be closer to this size. Now, I like a 128, 129 millimeter shot put, which is closer to this size. You're gonna wanna get a wrist wrap or a wrist strap of some kind. I personally use this one, but really all a wrap is protects your wrist from all the throws. It actually allows you to get more into the shot put because it strengthens your wrist. You have something like this, which is leather. You can use an elastic band like this. A lot of times like a lifting wrist wrap will do the trick. Again, a lot of people use these. Fits like that. Another option is just using athletic tape. If I wasn't using this, I definitely prefer athletic tape. You can make it just as tight as you want, and essentially you just wrap it around your wrist. All you're doing here is supporting the wrist, so you can do however you want. You're gonna wanna use some chalk for a couple reasons. One, it makes an even and consistent texture on the ball. So say you grab some chalk here, you can see as I cover the ball with chalk, it turns white. Used a really nice coating of chalk on there, adds a little bit of texture. The second place you want to use some chalk when you throw a shot put is on your neck. So when you take a lot of throw, especially like a hot day or whatever, there's a lot of friction on your neck. So like the ball comes off, your neck can get sore. That chalk helps that. It reduces some of that friction. Again, I like chalk because it makes a consistent feel day in, day out, so I recommend using it. If you want to learn a little bit more about these, I would put a link in the description. Now let's get into the meat of the video, learn how to throw this thing farther. Wait, that's not how you throw it. That's like a discus. You want to throw it like this. First concept we want to understand on how to throw the shot put is the ball placement on our neck and our arm movement. We're using our hand, this strong part of our hand, and pushing the ball into our neck. We have the ball on our neck, our elbow up, and our hand pushing into our neck, because we're gonna be pushing the ball from out here. And notice, my elbow is up and out rather than down here. So when we go to throw, we're not having our arm here throwing like this. The second concept I want you to understand is where our energy comes from. And just like discus, just like pretty much every other sport, our energy comes from our legs and our hips through the torso into the arm. We are pushing it towards the sky, above the trees. We're not throwing it up like this. So it is a movement like this from our torso. Here, elbows back, everything's up. It's like our upper back is flexed. There. Everything in our torso is strong to handle this heavy weight. How does this compare with discus? So like discus, I would say, is a medium weight, medium heavy implement. And you throw a medium heavy implement out here. Well, if you're gonna throw a baseball or a javelin, that's a real lightweight implement. How are you gonna throw a lightweight implement? You put it back here and you throw it. Like imagine throwing this like a baseball. Yeah, right, you just can't do that. Well, how in the world do you throw a heavy implement, heavy shot put? You bring it as close to the center of your body as you can. That's why we put it on our neck. We use our core and our legs to propel it. Of course, we want strong chest, strong arms, and those do play a part. But if we're not using our legs, if we're not pushing the shot put, it's gonna beat us up. The best way I can explain pushing the shot put is having your hips under you and keeping your back foot turning. So if you think about like a box jump, you know, you jump up, that's the same way we're producing power with the shot put. Now in the shot put, we're not coming up off the ground, we're not jumping, but all that energy we create with our legs and our hips as we rise goes into the shot put, and that's what makes it go far. Well, so in order to use our legs in the right way, gotta be in the right position. So that's what I mean by hips under you. The right position for throwing far is those hips under you. What we want to avoid is something like this. Crunch down, see our hips are back out from us, like this. Our ideal position has our legs a little bit wider than shoulders width, our knees apart, and that hips rolled under. Again, contrast this with this. This is strong hips, this is hips under you, this is broken hips, this is weak hips. So when we go to throw, we want to use our legs, hips underneath us, in a position like this. And all we're doing is we're keeping our knees bent, we're keeping our hips under us, and we're turning this foot. That's how you throw. The ball on our neck, got our elbow back, our shoulders flexed, got our knees bent, our hips under us. We're gonna turn this foot. That is like a basic stand throw. And a stand throw is where you learn how to really work the ground, use your legs, keep your hips under you, learn how to really throw the ball, do a lot of stand throws. But there's another drill we can do to work on those same things. This is, again, the two concepts are neck placement and arm movement. And then the second concept is pushing the ball with your legs. So my favorite drill with shot put to learn how to strike the ball with your arm right, how to push the ball with your legs, is just simply a punch out. And a punch out is a drill that teaches you how to use your legs, hips, core, and your arm. And it looks something like this. So as you know, the punch out is just a drill, but basically, as you saw, I had both feet against the toe board. So you can contrast that with a stand throw where your back leg is back this way. For the punch out drill, both feet are up against the toe board. And you simply bend your knees, twist back towards the shot put, like here. But notice, see how my hips are under me? I'm not going like this to throw. Hips stay under, I bend my knees. And then when you're in that position and you're back here, see your shoulder is loaded, everything's back here. Then as you extend your legs, your hips extend, that allows you to put energy into the ball. The key when practicing punch outs is you want a full extension with those legs, full extension with the hips, and full extension with your hand before the shot put leaves your hand, because we want to practice that, everything up and out. So if you notice when I throw shot put, I always have a little bit of a crunch in there. So what I'm doing wrong there is, as I go to throw, I'm breaking my left hip, my hip goes back a little bit, or I go away from it. So a drill like a punch out, I like to do all the time because it helps me practice hips under me so I can stay strong and long into the shot put. So as always, when I do drills, it's always a progression of drills lead up to a real part of the throw. So for in this stance, we're working on the front half of the ring, how to make power. The real throw there is your stand throw, which is something like this, how shoulders are all the way back here. And you can see how that's a lot different than the punch out, where the punch out, my shoulders are facing the sector and so are my hips. This takes out a lot of the movement so that you can just simply work on exploding. But of course, we want to transition from that drill to here. And so essentially, we make up a new drill, a halfway drill. So rather than just a full punch out here, you just put your foot back part way and you wind up part way. So punch out is feet, hips, and shoulders this way. Stand throw is shoulders this way, hips this way. The halfway in between drill is just hips and shoulders facing this way. So it's, again, you're taking out some of the movement and you're simply working on loading this leg and extending your legs, hips under you. Whoa. And you can do this, it's a little bit, you can focus more on keeping those hips under you so you're not crashing at the end. It looks something like this. Notice my hip is under me, shoulders back facing this way. Good. The other day I had a session and I took about 24 total throws. And I started with 8 punch outs. So I did 8 punch outs, focusing on finishing strong, hips up, shoulders forward, arm going in the right direction. And then I did 8 throws, kind of like a half drill, where again, it's a little bit more focused on the right side, right leg turning, but then again, still finishing hip up. Then I finished my practice with 8 full stand throws, full wind up, really using the legs, working on turning this, extending this, and finishing strong without that break in the end. In a practice, somewhere between 15 and 30 throws will make a good practice. Yeah, I appreciate you sticking around to the end of this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up.